Intersection Magazine Podcast. Welcome to Intersection Magazine Podcast for the month of April 2026. That's volume 10, issue 9. We continue our conversation about Dubai with Alessandro Palombo. Alessandro Palombo is someone I follow that I receive regular updates from in my email. We also present our Founders Freedom section for those of you who need help establishing stronger businesses and making sure that you have a sense of succession. We also have the 6 layers of artificial intelligence. We published this with the hope that those of you who are not necessarily interacting with artificial intelligence will see which sectors or which layer of the artificial intelligence operation you can teach yourself to improve your skills. We believe that many careers can be enhanced by artificial intelligence tools that already exist. So we are suggesting and upskilling for those of you who want to make sure that you're not left behind. And then in our Q&A section, we have Lawrence Mwanda of ArcNerd and Lamwad Engineering Labs. You will find a conversation with him really useful. So once again, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. A summary of April 2026, volume 10 to 9. So, as usual, for those of you who are interested in learning a new skill, we offer maybe, let's say, 2 to 3 week intensive course on web design as well as web hosting. It's traditional to just teach people how to design, but I think adding the bit on hosting adds another dimension to your training. We will teach you design by first principles, and then we'll show you some of the tools that exist. We'll also give you the modern edge to design, which is designing using artificial intelligence. But the belief is pretty simple, and that is that if you wish to learn something, there are some basics that will help you take advantage of modern day tools such as artificial intelligence, systems that exist in the modern day that make designing of web pages simpler, but it helps to have some background knowledge about what's going on under the hood. Most people that are paying for people to design web pages for them are designing with the view of customization. And if you're going to design with customization in mind, you need to be skilled. Now, in the second piece that we started last month on the Guide to Dubai, we're continuing the conversation around the Golden Visa, on its implication on residency. Those of you who want to know a little bit more about that can read the piece. He also talks about other countries and what they do with these types of visas. The advantages you have of being located in Dubai. He talks about how there are 130,000 millionaires. There are about hundreds of centi-billionaires, around 20 billionaires who live there. So it's a valuable place to network. He also talks about what he calls a microstate framework. He says it's closer to Singapore or Monaco. It's a highly controlled environment optimized for specific outcomes. That is capital attraction, business formation, and wealth preservation. These are interesting insights from Alessandro Palombo on the advantages of um, moving or working in Dubai. He says that it favors those who are willing to take risks because um, the people he met there are in either running or $1 million businesses or own those $1 million businesses. Now he says because of that, of that fast pace, there's also a tendency, or you have to have the willingness to take risks. And he said that that sense of that plug and play infrastructure, he calls it a plug and play infrastructure, is very addictive. And he says that if you live in Dubai and you move, you will feel how slowly the rest of the world moves because of the deliberate steps that the country or the nation has taken to make itself business friendly. Now, our founders, Freedom Peace, also has, as we featured it, usually we have some of what they do, strategy, under strategy, then they've got also governance. So there's strategy formation, and for governance they have board evaluation, board development. They also offer a consulting session on what your business needs are. They have, as well as for services, a business growth map, which has 4 sections: preparation, assessment, recommendation, and then the roadmap itself, as well as, of course, the business formation, board formation pathway. For the magazine, as we've said before, you can host an ad with us. We have quite a lot of visibility. What we have aimed to do with the magazine is to unite it with the rest of our platforms so that you get as much coverage as possible through a variety of different tools, social media tools, and products that we offer. Collaboration is also available for the podcast, whether that's the Intersection Magazine podcast or Transition, Transformation, and Radical Thinking podcast. Our web design costs, as well as web hosting costs, are also available. One thing that we do in terms of how we design is we use what we call R4D methodology. You might be interested in that in terms of how we develop our websites. Our 2 publications are also available. That is a glossary of terms and acronyms, as well as a survival kit for effective communication. Those of you who are interested in learning a lot more about artificial intelligence and how you can integrate your current tasks or your current skill set into the new technologies that are being developed will appreciate this comprehensive guide to the 6 layers of artificial intelligence. We'll just give you bits and pieces. You have the compute layer, or the hardware or infrastructure layer. It includes GPUs and AI chips. It includes high performance data centers, distributed computer clusters, networking, and storage systems. The major players in this layer are NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, and Google. Some of these are major chip makers. So those of you who want to learn a little bit more about that can do so. But also it will help you as you make investments, whether it's in tech stocks or hardware, whatever else you're investing in. So as I said, the first layer is a compute layer. The second layer is a data layer, where you've got data collection, data cleaning, labeling, and annotation. Key organizations are groups that do dataset hosting and sharing, open large data sets, as well as data labeling infrastructure. The third is the model layer, of where you have your foundational models That's your large language models, your vision models, your speech models, and then your multimodal models. Your concepts at the model layer are neural networks, deep learning, transformer architecture, pre-training and fine-tuning. Examples of AI models are GPT-4, Claude, Llama, and Gemini. Key organizations are OpenAI, Anthropic, Meta, and Google DeepMind. So those of you who use ChatGPT are making use of the third layer, which is the model layer. So we've also given you pictorial summaries of what these layers consist of, so that you can appreciate that a little bit more. For those of you who are into film and television series, in light of the challenges that we're facing as business people or citizens regarding geopolitics, I thought that you might appreciate what Taylor Sheridan has done, with his show Landman, especially with its focus on Texas and the oil sector. For books of choice, we came across a book called The Mom Test. I only read this because a Twitter personality, an ex-personality called Charles Dairo, suggested about 5 books for those of you who are into entrepreneurship. And so I'll be going through those 5 books and creating summaries for readers of artificial or of the technologies, or readers of the magazine. So the Mom Test is really it talks about how if you ask a person who is close to you about your product or your business, they're not likely to give you the truth about it because they don't want to hurt your feelings. So what the author wants to do is help you as a builder, as a founder, as an entrepreneur, to ask the right questions. So it's split up into several sections: asking good questions, avoiding bad data, keeping it casual, pushing for commitment and advancement, framing the meeting, customer segmentation, prepping and reviewing, and then taking notes. So that's the book, The Mom Test. Our Q&A was with a young man called Lorenzo Mwanda. He's a very promising young man who has set up a custom software hardware design company. We talked about some of what he does and what his companies do, as well as what his dreams are for the sector, and how people that are part of the ecosystem here can do to improve, and what we can do to improve it in the overall sense. For example, he suggests building sustainable businesses, generating revenue, validating products, and scaling organically. He suggests that we shouldn't depend too much on investment, not to depend too highly on external funding. The last 4 issues are also presented, so those of you who may have no idea what we've been doing the last 4 months can find out, for example, who we interviewed and what topics we covered. We also have some micro poetry to just kind of tone down the intensity of what we've been writing. Also share some ideas about some of what we're doing, from the writing to the podcasting to the baking to the development of the creation of a space. And then of course we have the option that you have to get snacks or for workshops, for small offices, or for your small shop, in terms of the little things we do at Hope First Bakery. So that's basically April 2026, an audio summary of the magazine. We'd love to have you subscribe. Subscription is about $24 for a whole year. You'll get 12 issues sent to your WhatsApp. That's what we covered for April 2026, Volume 10, Issue 9. Once again, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing.
Intersection, intersection, magazine, magazine.
Intersection Magazine Podcast.